So why are we running scared? Well, there's no simple answer, but the weather sure ain't helping. First we had a wild and wet winter, and now our scorching summer has seen some crop yields dip by as much as 30%. To dig a little deeper, I'm meeting Warwickshire fruit and veg farmer George Beach, whose broccoli is struggling to survive.
So is it the heat wave that's causing these problems?
It definitely is, yes. Normally these plants would be probably double that height. Once the temperature starts to go up above 24 or so, 25 degrees, the plant starts to react. So if you feel on this leaf here, you can tell it's got a waxy feel to it, and that's the plant producing its own form of protection.
And that in itself means that the plant's putting its effort into protecting rather than growing.
Absolutely. All the energy is about survival. And what we are finding, this plant here is prematurely maturing. That is blown and gone to seed, and therefore that plant now will not produce us anything in September.
Wow, it's a stress response, isn't it?
The concern with the plants doing this now, the more that do it will reduce the yield from the fields that we have. These aren't normal conditions, so they're not growing in the way that you'd expect them to.
They're confused.
They're confused too.
If George's broccoli crop fails, he stands to lose more than £100,000. Keeping them alive means watering them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Is it a more expensive procedure because of the weather?
Without a doubt. We're fortunate enough to have a good infrastructure on the farm to provide every field with the water, but it means more labour and therefore more expense. But if we didn't do the watering we've done, we would have a crop failure and the plants would die.
Wow. And you must have some real empathy then for those farmers that aren't as fortunate as you to have that water supply.
We really do. It is those smaller farmers that haven't got the infrastructure that we have that will inevitably suffer.
So your crop is going to be smaller than you would like, and it's becoming more expensive to produce than you would like. So what does that mean for prices?
Ultimately, we will be having to demand that little bit extra.
Well, I know that in France, French carrots are 5 times the price of what British carrots are in British supermarkets. Are we expecting that kind of change in price?
I think we expect a change in price, but I really don't think we're going to see 5 times. We'll probably end up charging 5, 10, maybe 20% more on certain items.
So what happens if the supermarkets turn around and say, no, sorry, you're simply asking too much for your broccoli?
And there's a point where if we don't get the price that we need, we will have to say no. You're simply not going to get the product then.
If that happens, where will it leave farmers? And how will it affect what we all fork out for our food?